Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversations. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
Hello, hello, hello. I have a question for you. Have you ever felt completely lost? You know, seeking purposeful direction that could and should propel your mission within your divine journey to that next level, but still it hasn't happened. Well, my name is Lauren Michaels Harris, and I'm the founder of P3, the Journey Series. People come to me because they're wounded. Many are scared, and even there are those who are bruised simply because they feel that they are increasingly, for whatever reason, losing their ability to dream. Now, this P3 program is not for a person who's just looking to start a business, no, but rather for those of you out there who have been on your journey and you've been navigating within your divine purpose, but you still desire to elevate to that level that you have not reached yet. If this is appealing, if this describes you, then I want to have a chat with you. I want to hear your story. So use the link below to get registered for your free seat at P3, the Journey Series. And let's get started, one story at a time. I'll see you inside. Click the link. Never forget it, with Sally Field and John Goodman, called Punchline. And she came in from a late night out trying to become a star as a comedian. And she had her back to John Goodman. She was making tea. And she said, she got mad because he was on her case. And she goes, can't I ever just give you an apology that's accepted? The minute she said it, it all came rushing back through me. I ran out of there. I sped home. I wrote it down in pencil and stuck it in a corkboard. Apology accepted. And 6 weeks later, Anne's prediction came true. And I was in People magazine, which is hanging on that wall behind me right now. That was my first tango with greatness, when I realized that there really is a veil. There are things in this world that we don't see. Just like this, I always heard as a kid, you only use 10% of your brain. And I was like, well, good. That's encouraging because I need a lot more. And it happened. And when I wrote that down in pencil, I put it on a 3x5 card. She had told me to buy People magazine to reinforce the vision. And it was 2 feet from me. I reached for it. Went to the masthead, found the editor. I'll never forget. It said Avenue of the Stars, New York, New York. And I put a 10-cent stamp on it. I said, I just had a dream. I am going to start a business that is going to do apologies for people who can't or won't for themselves. I really think you should call me. Here's my phone number. 1 week to the day, that editor was on my phone. And the rest is history.
don't see what's yours for the taking tonight.
Good morning. I'm giving you a round of applause. Give yourself one. Welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I'm your host, Dr. Lauren. Woo-wee. Is it Thursday? I think it is. Yes, we're almost there to the end of the week. It has been a fabulous week. High of 69 expected today in the Chicagoland area, and been rainy quite a bit. It's fall. The leaves are turning. I love it, though. I love the fall. I love the changing of seasons. I do. And I apply that same love to the seasons of my journey. And I always tell people, if you don't honor the seasons and you're not willing to accept the seasons that change within your journey, then what are you doing, right? We're trying to find our highest selves. And when we come together like we are right now, fulfilling that one of those great promises that guarantees us that where two or more of us comes together with that same mindset, that heart set, that overall soul set, if you will, spiritual magic is the outcome. Can I get an amen? I'll kick it off. I ain't afraid. There it is. There it is. Amen. Amen. It means we are in agreement. Great show for you today. We are moving forward almost to the end of the first week of the RPXP, the Red Pill Experience Takeover. They're here. People that I met at this great event about a month ago, I think it's been now. Boy, the time has flown by. And today we have the incredible Stephanie Zito here. Hey, I wonder what that's like. Isn't that a food? To have a name that's a food? Yes, that's what if her name was Stephanie Pie? Okay, Stephanie Zito. Isn't that a piece? That's a type of pasta. Ooh. But here's something that you can also gobble up. She's in this book called Wealth Codes, Sacred Strategies for Abundance. Yeah, got that right. And we're going to talk about that book and her chapter and what she does as, well, I'm going to tell you. Well, I'm going to wait till she gets in here because I got a lot to talk about. Stephanie's got a lot of explaining to do today about this thing known as vision casting. I knew nothing about it. And I went searching, and it was kind of a rocky path, if you know what I mean, to find what I was looking for. So I'm so glad that she's here to clear it up for us. Now, what is that? That's the bell of purpose. I hit that bell every time there is some truth out there. When someone says, ooh, that's a good one, I'm going to hit the bell. Why? Because just like that bell, you guessed it, the truth has a ring to it. I don't want you to miss any of it. Also, at this point of the show, welcome my sidekick, Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo. Lucy, I'm going to come back here to my toy center where I have my collectible. There she is. Remember that outfit? I do. And then here's the scary troll doll that I've had since I was like 2 that my aunt and uncle gave me. And I remember my adoptive mom said I must have been 6 before I even allowed it to come in my room because I was afraid of him. But now he's my good friend. Yes. So anyway, that's my ADHD. I don't know what made me go and get those toys, but I love to play. So Stephanie Zito is here. And instead of reading a bio or a resume or anything like that, I think I just want to get Stephanie in here because I have a feeling we have a lot to talk about today because I want to know more. I want you to know more, and together I want us to grow and find at least a little piece that leads us today to our higher selves. Can I get an amen? Thank you. So listen, you know what we do when someone has not been here before? We give them a standing O virtually. We throw some hearts on the screen. It's our way of wrapping love completely around this sacred space that we are sharing here today. So do that right now, won't you please? And also bless in the manner in which you hope to be blessed today. Share the broadcast out. You just could change someone's life. Here we go. Here she comes, Stephanie Zito and her vision casting.
Hello.
Wait a minute. I'm digging this off the shoulder bit. Let me do it.
Oh, is that right? You're going to do that too? Yeah, get a little off the shoulder action.
But you have some kind of a apparatus on there. What is
It's my
that?
microphone. Should I put it somewhere else?
No.
Is it not
okay.
cute?
No, I didn't know
Not
what it
cute
was.
there.
I didn't know. Okay. Nice.
It's my microphone.
How are you, Steph?
I should give it a name. This is Chucky.
Oh, Chucky. Hi, Chucky. How you been?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
Blessed and highly favored. Well, let me say this. I'm glad you're here. I think a lot is tying into your presence. I'll start with this. My eyes opened about 2 minutes before my alarm went off at 4:14, because that's my angel number this morning. And I woke up, I was already worrying about something before my eyes even opened. And I remember I was like, hello, God. What is up with that? What kind of day is this going to be that before I even open up my eyes, I'm worried about something. So anyway, I didn't go to the health club, even though I clearly dressed for it. Something told me to just stay in today. And so I went to YouTube. I was really thinking I was going to go find something about Archangel Michael, right? But then I started listening to these stories from people about near-death experiences, what they were reporting, and I heard I had some confirmation on things, and then it led me to you. And I said, well, let me do some research and see if I can find something on this vision casting. Oh. And interestingly enough, all I found were ministers speaking on it from the pulpit. I was like, what? So anyway, that's where we're going to start. I want you to give us the definition, but first, say hello to everybody. I'm going to dip out for 30 to 40 seconds, let you create your own vibe. Say hello, maybe things that you want them to know, since I didn't read a bio. And then we'll come back and get started, because I want to get to your chapter. I have some things highlighted in it that I
can't wait.
like to go over. But here, say hello to everybody, and I'll be right back. All you.
Sounds good. Thank you. Hi, it's good to see everyone. I'm so glad to be here with you. I'm Stephanie Zito. A little bit about me. I am a psychic medium, and I call myself a manifesting facilitator. So I'm here to help you make magic the norm. And what I find is that through my vision casting process, I also work with hypnotherapy, getting into the subconscious, and through the intuition, my clients, we get to manifest what you desire. No joke, like relationship stuff. If you're not happy with your job, something's off, you're just out of sync with yourself in life in some way, with money, within 3 months or less. And it's so interesting what Dr. Lauren was talking about in terms of these ministers talking about vision casting, because where my life has taken me, it never would have said 10 years ago that I'd be sitting here talking about being an intuitive. And yet, as life takes us, here we are. And I feel like it's really been a guided journey, really guided by whatever you want to call it, source, the universe. Some people like to say God. And the more I dive into that, the more I kind of get out of my own way, the more the blessings show up. And those show up in terms of like synchronicities. Those show up in terms of people coming to support you. It looks like everyday magic. And that's what I'm here for.
Well, it is. And I kind of left a piece out of what happened this morning, right? Okay, you saw that clip that I showed, and I was talking about the People magazine thing that was back in 1988. Well, what you didn't see, I made that this morning.
Are you serious?
When I found myself with extra time, because I didn't go to the health club, and I was like, well, I should do something productive. Let me go. So I took a clip from my masterclass and turned it into that little piece. But I'm going to share quickly, because then after I did it, I came to do the research on you and found out I had no idea you were into NLP. And that's what that whole piece is about. So I'm like, wait a minute. So if I show you, I'll show you, I'm not going to play the clip again, but I'm going to show you what I posted about. So Okay, many people close to me think that the success I have today began once I entered the realm of the work I currently do, but that is nowhere near accurate. In 1988, remember there's no internet then, I found myself face to face with my first thoughts of taking my own life, of suicide. I was desperate for something to hold on to, something to believe in, and I cried out to the universe, to God, or to whatever greater source could help me. And I was living in Hollywood, California at the time, hoping to find success in the music industry. And while thumbing through a magazine, which was called Dramalog, where I could find auditions within, my eyes scanned rather quickly to an ad for NLP. And I was like, here's a little side note. I was like, I don't believe in that shit. Right. Okay. Anyway, I wrote her number down. I was not a believer in NLP, but was desperate. So I called the number and scheduled my appointment with Anne. That one session with Anne was all it took for the universe to answer my cry for help, sending me this idea for a healing business that had never before existed anywhere in the world. And she had actually told me, Lauren, when she counted me down to take me under, she said, "See yourself in People magazine." And she just came up with that. And within a few short weeks, I went from feeling that I wanted to die to being nationally recognized for a business the world had never seen prior to my bringing it to the world. Proof that we all have a higher purpose. And so that was why I showed that. But I'm so, I don't know what to call it now that I'm tying it together with your being here. So I think that's what we're going to talk about today.
Oh, I know what to call it.
You do? Okay. Because I'm telling you, when she said that,
Oh, where did you go? You froze.
okay, yeah, and if I freeze, you keep going, okay?
Okay.
But I'll show you this too, and I don't tell a lot of people this, but I guess it's got people that have been here in the house know this. But she also said, on the left, see yourself in People magazine. On the right, hold your Grammy, feel the weight of it, wave to the fans.
Yes.
So 6 weeks after I was in People magazine, which you saw in that clip, in 2 years, I keep it back here. I actually got that.
Yes. Yes. Right. Oh my gosh. Okay.
It was for voiceover. It wasn't for singing, but it was for a voiceover.
You got a Grammy. Hey, you got a Grammy.
She said both of those things that day, and I was at my lowest. I'm serious. I was like, if something doesn't change, I'm out of here. So tell us about why you feel we're here today and what we're going to do.
Honestly, I just feel so blessed being here with you. You know, like knowing you from Red Pill, you channel from whatever you want to call it, source, universe, God, like you get in this channel and the words that you say are just like, they're just so rich with expression and meaning. And so it's really wonderful to be here with you. And,
Thank you.
And I'm really grateful to hear your story because there's a lot of people struggling out there and they don't know, you know, they look to that, they look to suicide as an option. And it's always remembering there's going to be something, take that next breath, that next 60 seconds, you know, there's always going to be something better around the corner. You just can't see it yet. And this is what I find frequently. Yeah. You're going to say something. Go ahead.
No, I'm just breathing it in because I'm just going to be honest. My soul felt kind of sad this morning that I woke up that way, you know, because you think that, I mean, I don't even know how to explain it.
Well, listen, I got a thought for you if you want.
Please. Yeah.
Okay. So this is the thing we talk about. Let me kind of back up here a little bit, right? Like, okay, we are these beautiful human beings, right? We're these beautiful expressions of source, and source shows itself in many different ways. And in the world that I work in, with the world of channeling and intuition, my understanding is that our souls came here to study something. Our souls came here to know something great. And we live in a world that, to be honest, to come to Earth school, your soul could have chosen a lot of easier places to be. You could be in this beautiful place. We could all be just chilling at the beach, eating fruit. And instead, we choose something that has a whole range of emotions, a whole range of experiences. You know this. You've been there. The darkest of the dark, the lightest of the light, and everything in between, right? And so I think sometimes we believe that like we get to a place elevated and we have to stay there all the time, right? And in a sense, you were gifted this timeline. When you did that session, she saw some things for you that came to fruition,
Yeah.
right? And it's like you magnetized them into being. They were synced into your system. And you chose to stick around and you chose to have those things occur. It's a new timeline. And I think sometimes we believe when we get to this space that we're not allowed to have these other things come in. We're not allowed to have a worry come in. Oh, I'm going to mess it up if I have a worry come in, right?
Yeah.
To me, when we have that showing up, I love to just bring curiosity. Like, what are you here to show me? What are you here to, like, if my kid's sad, I'm not going to be like, oh, you don't get to be sad. Go get happy again. I'm
Right.
disappointed in you. You got sad.
How
It's like,
dare
well,
you?
right. How dare you get sad? Well,
Yeah.
let's talk about this. Even if it seems like the smallest thing, like it matters to them, like their emotions. And so to me, when you're on this timeline, there is another timeline. There's like a jillion timelines. There's another timeline upon which all the worries, all the stuff that isn't going to work out, guess what? That exists on a different timeline. And what I like to tell people, like time and time again, what I see, like literally see this time and time again, is that when we step into this process, like vision casting, it's what I call it.
Okay.
Like we are just like you did. We are calling in this new timeline, and we get to experience it, like even like in 3 months or less. Like these things, they start to come in, and it's like, oh, that seems so random. That seems so crazy that happened, right? It's so random.
Right.
It's not random. It's like picture like you got on this like race car track, and like that's your track. Like you almost cannot help but get there. Like you call it in, you see it, it's in the quantum field, and there's a certain connection and vibration. We can get in our own way when we allow the fear to stop us, when we're like, well, I don't know if I should make that investment, if I'm going to make it back. I don't know if I really should go to that thing, or I'm not feeling so, like, go. Hear the call, because it's like the universe is like, oh, you called and you said you wanted a Grammy. Okay. Let's see how we can like synchronize your actions. You're passing the baton to the universe to then deliver you the people, the situations to co-create that. When you
Yes.
say yes and you step into it, you get to help co-create that together.
Yes. Now, see, now there's another connector. This morning, the very first one of those near-death experiences, because I don't go like, oh, tell me about your near-death experience. I was really
Right.
going to listen. I thought I was looking for Secret Universe,
Mhm.
right? And because I listen to them every now and then, but I saw this thing and I hit it. And it was in the last 2 minutes that the woman said, and I promise you, I was walking from, I know exactly where I was. I was leaving the family room, moving towards where the laundry room was.
Mhm.
And I had the phone in my hand, and she said, God told me, many are called, few are chosen, but of those, very few will say yes. And I went,
Mm.
because it was exactly how they told me years ago in the heat of my addiction, when I was suicidal. And I said, why would anyone ever want to listen to me? Why do you keep dangling this carrot that we all know cannot happen? And they said to me, they said, Lauren, many are called, few are chosen, but you would be shocked at how many will not choose in return. And so it was really the same thing this woman said. And it was a validation that, because she died to go hear
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
I didn't really die literally, like she was dead for 10 minutes to
Mhm.
hear it. So it touched me. And I started, I'll be honest, I didn't make it to the laundry room. I turned around, sat down on the couch in the family room, and I was kind of crying, and I couldn't understand why. Because I
Mhm.
was like, well, shouldn't I be happy that I got this validation? And I am, but I just don't understand it. This is a very odd day for me.
Yeah, I feel like you're really feeling something,
I am.
There's, yeah. Well, I also, I mean, I woke up and there's all these things going on in the world, right? There's all these things that like there's an undercurrent of things in the world that aren't right, that aren't nice, that aren't good, that don't make sense. And I think sometimes even when on our surface we're going around, we're doing fine, like we feel it. And in my impression, it's part of being the part of the fabric of it's like little fungi, little mushrooms, they all communicate with one another. And so we feel it too. And so whether it's something more personal to you or it's something within the collective,
Yes.
sometimes it's just worth like sitting with it or honoring that while we go about our day, like again, like Earth school doesn't always make sense. When you have the universe fractaling into the expression of anything, you're going to get anything, right? And so for as much as, and I do believe that the more of us who are saying yes, and look, I understand we don't know how it's going to work out. You read my chapter. I've had those
Yes.
experiences several times. We don't know how it's going to look if I choose to stay here on the planet. We don't know. When we trust, the biggest thing I think we're here to learn as souls, like the closest connection to us and source is that trust.
Yes.
Right? Because that is the space where it's like you're like in a relay and you're like, okay, I'm passing the baton. And I can't tell you the number of times I've been like, okay, guys, I passed the baton. Like I hear this call. I don't know how I'm supposed to do it. Like, you should just show me. Like, why don't you just like show me some stuff?
There it is again. That's exactly what I said at the end of my it felt like 60 seconds worth of, and then I said, okay,
Right.
whatever this is about, because you start coming back to your knowing,
Hmm.
it's brief. And I really feel this, Stephanie. I really feel like a lot of us, and I've been saying this and repeating this to my clients, my coaching clients, since returning from the Red Pill experience.
Mm.
I've been saying to people that I really feel like the universe is showing me, when we're elevating and we're ascending and we're mastering different things that we came here to master, to be of service to this world and to ease suffering on a continual basis.
Mm.
It's like every time we master something, it's like having mastered an obstacle course. But I
Mhm.
also feel that there's a group of us right now, like when the angels hit the stopwatch to time us, it's not for us we've mastered, swinging across the water and not getting wet. We've mastered
Mhm.
scaling up the wall and over, going through the
Mhm.
tires, but it's now about beating our own best time.
Mhm.
So like when I was doubting how quickly I came back, okay, I'm done with that.
Mhm.
What are you really trying to say to me? Where are you really trying to take me? What are you
Mhm.
really trying to show me? And
Yes.
that's what I have a feeling that you've got something today that you're bringing here. And so I'm just going to leave it open. I don't feel I'm supposed to ask you a series of questions about your backstory, even though I loved how you opened your chapter about how you were headed to go to this new life with your boyfriend and you hit the black ice and the car ended up pointing back in the direction you had come from and blah, blah, you can tell everybody that, but
Mhm.
just take it. I'm just giving you
Sure.
carte blanche.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah, well, since you kind of started with that, I mean, yeah, I got into a place where I really was like out of alignment. Like, I feel like we know when we're in alignment, we're on course, and then we kind of know when we're out of alignment. And for me at the time, I would say I was really seeking love outside of myself. And so love wasn't looking right. And so I did move to Kentucky. This is like before I met my now husband, and it wasn't the right relationship, and I kind of knew that. And I was on the phone talking to my then boyfriend, fighting, and I had this Ford Explorer, and I was in like Wyoming. I hit black ice, and I spun around, and I ended up facing the other direction, like no joke. And I heard the words, "You can turn around," very clearly, like the clearest. You can go back. And I was like, no, I'm going to keep going. But I think I really needed to walk through what it looked like to be so out of alignment. And this is the thing, when you're out of alignment, things are not going to work out. I could not get hired by a single place in Kentucky. And I got a lot of great skills. I got a
Yeah.
master's degree. For some I was overqualified or they just didn't understand me. And yet I was still making money through that whole thing, through other things I was doing. I was like, how am I still supported? Right? It's like the universe is still, for money I was making, but I was like, how is this even
How am I
happening?
not panhandling? Right.
Yeah, but and I'm so glad, because I probably would have been like, well, I have a job. I even considered staying there, and nothing wrong with any particular state. It just, I really wanted to be in California. I saw my life. I saw my dream job. I saw all of it. I didn't trust, I didn't believe that that could happen for me. So I was stuck in this life that was nothing like what I expected or really wanted, right? And so thank you, universe, for helping me get so off track. I was like crying every day. I couldn't sleep at night. My boyfriend like bought me melatonin, which like, thank you so much. But the problem was us,
Yes.
and at the time I got a coach, a somatic coach, and she really showed me the way back to my center. And in doing
I
that,
tell people real quick, because I read that in the book. You talk
okay,
about her. What
yeah.
is that kind of a coach? I had no idea when I read it, and I still don't.
So yeah, the reason why that I even thought about that is, prior to that, I had gotten my master's degree in conflict resolution, and to me, that conflict resolution was, getting us clear on honestly who we are on the inside and expressing that, and through that, and if you're in your good expression, you're not on your spouse, you're not on your kids,
Yeah.
you're not coming home from your job like hating life, like you're feeling like I've got this, right? Even when I don't know exactly what's happening around the corner, I'm in that place of trust. And so um, in that studies, I had found somatics, which is like the idea that we are not just a body. The body is not separate from the mind. The body is not separate from the emotions or the spirit. We are an entirety of spirit, mind, emotions. They all intersect.
Mm-hmm.
And so being a somatic coach is using the body as a pathway to healing. And so she taught me to do like a body scan, which was literally just understanding what you feel in your body. Like, what do you feel and where? And I was feeling a lot of it felt like dead wood in my upper back, right? Like, what is that? It's the heart space. It's love, right? It's loving myself. It's, being injured around love through things in the past, right? Affecting me. And in seeing that, she also had me do this one thing, which to this day I still do with all my clients. And it's asking, like, what am I? What am I? The words are very different. We don't usually talk like this. What am I a commitment to? You can ask yourself this right now. Or say it. I am a commitment to. And I know when you say it out loud, you might kind of move the words around because it's weird to talk like that, but I embody this. So she started out by suggesting, oh, I'm a commitment to self-love. And I was like, bleh, just crying. I couldn't say it. It was too much. I didn't even realize I couldn't say that. So we started with something like, I see myself. And I actually have a picture of myself as a young child over there, but I could see her and look at her and say, I am a commitment to seeing myself, just seeing, take the pressure off, right? And in doing that, well, if I'm a commitment to seeing myself, what am I doing to support that? What actions am I taking on a daily basis? And
Yeah.
so it got me back into going for a run a couple days a week, which got me to clear my head, which is where I get the downloads to see things clearly, coming back to myself, getting my good endorphins going, not crying every day. Yeah. And so it gave me the clarity to move, to just be like, you know what, what are my conditions of satisfaction? What are the things that I call in around my relationship? What do I call in around the kind of job that I have? And in doing that and doing this process, it literally set me on this manifesting trajectory where I just left. I was like, I don't know how it's going to go, but it's not this. I left. I had, at that point, my other car was totaled. So I bought this Chrysler Sebring convertible. It was really fun. It was a
My
really
friend
fun car.
Trey has one of those. Yeah.
It was so fun.
Uh-huh.
So drove to California. My dad came with me. It was so kind, and dropped me off at my friend's house. My friend was like, I have a room for you. That's all I needed. That was the one door I needed the universe to help me open to get to California. And you know, I started working for the exact place that I wanted to work at. It was the school. She ran the school for at-risk kids who were like involved with drugs and alcohol, and helping them get on track. So I started teaching yoga, right? And it became a full-time job. It was the job. It was my dream job, you know? And I
Nice.
got to move out of her place. I got my own place. At the same time, I started my yoga teacher training. Um, and this is where things get out of the way. I was gonna go meet someone over Christmas. My friend bailed. I was super upset with her. And in doing that, my friend was going online, going on Match.com. I was like, fine, I'll try it out. Couldn't find anybody on Match, but this other site for people who were active, he's the first person that showed up. And I know this was like meant to happen because, you know, I looked around after meeting up with him, and everyone else, again, some people are into different kinds of people. Everyone else on that site was like bodybuilders, like super oiled up, lots of bodybuilding. I mean, like, I was like, okay, it's just not. So I was like, wow, like, I can't believe that like Mark and I were on this site. And it was just like the universe was like, no, let's get this out of the way. Let's get that out of the way. Like, this is where you're headed. This is where we're taking you.
Yeah.
And just saying yes to that, you know,
There's
like
another connection. I found my husband on a site that my friend Tammy had me do the profile on a
yes,
Tuesday. I sat down and looked at it on Saturday, met Brian that Sunday, and we've been together all these
yes,
years. And I was
exactly.
never on that site again after that.
Right.
So go ahead. So yeah. Oh, and I just want to remind you, don't forget, I gave you carte blanche because I want you to remember you asked me, you texted me and said, do we have time at the end for a free gift, or you
Oh,
wanted to?
yeah.
So that's all you.
Oh, thank
Do
you.
whatever you
Yeah.
want to do with us.
Okay. Well, I don't know
We're
how much time we have
we're
left.
you have 15, 18
15
minutes,
minutes.
and we're
Okay.
putting in your hands, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I think the reason I tell that story is that it really taught me a process. It taught me an understanding around the ability that we have to what we call manifest. Like, if you're unhappy in your life in some way and you don't trust that it could look different, I'm here to tell you that it can. I feel like it's a channeled message to let you surrender. There's a real deep place of surrender into that spot of believing that I can have something better. The stuff that I say that I want, the way I want to be treated, how I want my job to look, like, what if it is possible? I'm here to kind of give that promotion of like, yes, and so this process of vision casting is what I take people through. And I want to tell you, you know, this happens very frequently, if I may. Like, yesterday, I had like 3 sessions with this one client. This was her 4th session. And she just comes on and she's reflecting on, she literally, after we started meeting, she got offered, like, hey, I have this great job for you. She was newly divorced, worried about how she was going to make ends meet, worried about how she was going to do anything fun with her son or travel, didn't really like her job, but felt stuck in it. So we start going through the vision casting process. We do a hypnosis, which helps her to take her beliefs about what she has available to her and also release a lot of the stuff from childhood that told her life had to look a certain way. So we're releasing that through the subconscious.
Mm-hmm.
And we're kind of recoding the stuff that can happen. Kind of like for you when you went through that and she was like, see your Grammy and you're in People magazine. It's like that. And what we're doing is we're like, look, here's the deal.
And I
Like,
didn't even believe in that stuff at the time.
right. You don't have to. You don't even have to believe it. But the thing is like, basically what you're doing is, you know, we have this area of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, that thinks things through rationally, like, well, I don't know what kind of job that I could ever get and this and that. And so it's kind of blocking us sometimes. It's giving us all the reasons why we can't do stuff. Or actually, sorry, what I mean to say is, like, we might believe that, well, that person did it, so I could do it too. Rationally, I see how it worked out for somebody else. That makes sense. But the subconscious is running beliefs to keep you safe, right? The subconscious is telling you stuff that maybe you imprinted when you were a kid.
Right.
Right. And so when we sync up the subconscious with the desires, the subconscious is in that state of like, well, naturally I believe that I could have this. We kind of give the subconscious through hypnosis what it can believe. We release it from the stuff that isn't serving it anymore. And you know, within like literally we started working in September, right? She was offered this new job with better pay that she adores. She received quote unquote random, I know, I'm so happy for her. She received random money, random.
Right.
Her son received a random scholarship to a music camp. She's literally everything that she said. She showed me the paper, everything that she wrote down. She's like, check it off the list. And it's not even November. It's not even November. And I feel like this rapid shift, it's like I hear it all the time. And this is what just lights me on fire. I feel like, you know, I've been gifted this, right? It comes from source, it comes from God.
Yes.
To be able to help people in this way, to help people, because as we elevate, you know, what I talked about earlier, so kind of this stuff that lies beneath the surface, as we are doing that, we're also helping show others the ability for them too. So it does have a ripple effect. Like that which we do for ourselves, we can then transfer over to others. and so through the vision casting, you know, I kind of gave you that one step, right, of making that commitment to yourself.
Yeah.
And that's a really important one because that's like the umbrella under which we make choices. Oh, I'm a commitment to my vibrant health. Okay, then just check in. Like, am I doing something? Like, am I going to work out? If I'm not, what's stopping me? What belief is getting in the way? Am I am I trying to avoid things by just drinking a couple beers every night? Like, how is that working for me? Is that helping my vibrant health? And then for the sake of what, for what reason, for the sake of what would I change this? For the sake of what would I make this change? Kind of looking at that bigger picture. And then in my world, what I find is just like you experienced, hypnosis is a very rapid way to help make these changes more naturally. So you're not butting heads with your own self. Like your brain and your subconscious aren't butting heads with one another. Like, we should go live. We should start a podcast. And the subconscious is like, no, that's not safe. People are going to say things about you, right?
Right.
Yeah. So we kind of get the subconscious on board with what we want. And I did mention, I have, if people want to experience hypnosis, I have a free money magnet hypnosis that we have a link for through your show that they're able to download. And if someone would like to experience an intuitive energy scan with me, I'm offering that as a free session. We have a link for that as well. And that's at solo.to. So yeah, come with me. We can look at like the biggest block. I'm really like a digger. Like I get under the surface as to what's under the surface for folks. Like, because when we understand that, when we can really see that, then we have the freedom to sort of detach from it. Like, oh, I see you, just like we do with meditation, right? We kind of pull back a little bit. If we're obsessively thinking about something or worrying about something, we can kind of pull back at it and look at it. And really like if you were worrying about something when you woke up, saying like, hey, show me more, tell me more, get curious about it. Instead of stuffing this stuff down, let's bring it to the surface.
Like embrace it. We can, don't run from it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's where we can shift it. There's another,
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, there's another place I like to, like, I feel like the two sweet spots that I love to do is one, helping people go into what we call the Akashic Records, which is basically, the Akashic Records is what we call like the whole, like a scroll or a library of your soul. So it's understanding some of these like relationships. Like if you have a conflict relationship, what is that about? If you keep getting into the same pattern with relationships, let's see what's going on there. Your soul is going to give you this information. And so I help guide you in there. And I go as I call like a way shower. So as you go, you're telling me where you are and I can see it, right? As a clairvoyant, I know exactly where you are and I can help show you if you're like I had someone who, she was in an airplane. She was like she just wasn't sure what else to do. So I had her look out the window, right? Or, someone was potentially like on a horse, and it's like, let's look where the horse is looking. It's going to show you greater depth of answers to help you understand maybe where that pattern is coming from, and also what to do about it, right? It's one thing to know it. It's another thing to be able to shift that into some energy that can greater serve you. So the Akashic Records is just like a beautiful place to get these ahas around some of our patterning, and the hypnosis is a beautiful place to then really shift it.
I love it. So today, in the here and now, are you ever on shows and things like this, and you just feel led to do something? Or you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Do you feel anything today?
Yeah. If you're open, we can just do like a channeled message. Does that
I'm
sound good?
open.
Of course you are. Of course you
Yes.
are. So this will be like for the collective that's listening.
Okay.
That sounds
So
good.
I'm going to give you the screen
Okay.
and just do your thing.
Okay. I like to close my eyes sometimes. And honestly, I actually feel like I'm being, I said collective, but there's maybe someone out there who's going to resonate with this. And usually I'm just going to go with it. Just go with it. So I'm starting out by seeing someone who looks like they're sitting in a chair. It's like just like a rocking chair. It looks like some wood, like potentially like maybe like a wood bookcase, or there's some wood kind of in the background. And there's some sort of small animal there too. And I actually feel like this is potentially like an image or an archetype of like your future self, when one is like older, when one has sort of like had an opportunity to do a bunch of stuff, and they're just sitting and they're actually really content, like looking back at the beauty that they have co-created in their lives, right? So they're looking out the window. It's fall. You talk about the seasons, and I want us to remember that the seasons are meant for us. If you feel like you get into a season of pause, right, where maybe you feel a little stagnant, or you're in the I'm not sure what's next phase, recognize that as you have seeded within your heart a seed of pure potential. So rather than worry about that as like, oh my gosh, I don't know what's next, look at that as like, I have stepped into a field of pure potential, and I get to be open to receive that which is meant for me, right? Kind of getting out of our own way a little bit. And so as we see sort of that like iconic idea of like just sitting back, having some tea, sitting with the cat or the small dog, it's cozy. As we're looking out the window, we're looking back at this arc of time. Look at all the beauty that you have the ability to create, starting with right now, what you are grateful for. Because gratitude is the highest attitude. So starting with what you are currently grateful for, and even stepping into that gratitude every day. So when you start to look at your complaints, turn that into 5 gratitudes. And notice what starts to shift in your mind, because as you do that, you shift your gaze. We shift our gaze from the pain in the ankle to the gratitude that we have legs and arms and eyes, and we have the ability to taste chocolate cake or coffee or whatever is your jam. We have the ability to smell these beautiful smells. So if I am feeling in lack of something, what can I bring to myself before I even seek that outside of myself? How can I bring that to myself? So in my example of not being able to say I could love myself, there was no one else who could fill that for me. Even my now husband, I went through that where I was like, oh, this is for me to do. He could never do enough to fill that hole that was meant to fill for myself. So starting with oneself, filling that in, and then recognizing what am I here for? What do I see? What do I get to believe is available for me? How can I co-create this one beautiful magic life? And then noticing what is one step, one action that can help get me there.
Woo. And you did it. You did another connection. I drew a pink line underneath it right before you came in this morning. And this is my notes from just this show, right? You can see all the stuff I wrote down there. What was that? Oh, Earth School. I put the box around Earth School, but earlier up there, if you see, this is the download I literally got while you were backstage. If you're going to be grateful for all of your life. And then when you went into gratitude attitude and this whole, I'm like, look at how it's all, because I just knew. I mean, and see, I think this is a great place to spend the last 6 minutes of this interview today, is to talk about the clues, the way the universe reaches in, because free will means the universe is never going to say it's this way or the highway. It's always based on choice. And
Mm-hmm.
so talk a little bit about what you know to be true, Stephanie, as far as how
Oh,
these clues are. I got a feeling you know exactly what I'm getting at.
I do. So I love cosmic clues. I led this whole like manifesting, playground, because people talk about challenges. Manifesting is not a challenge. I'm not going to call it that. I love to call it a playground, right?
Mm.
Cosmic clues, cosmic clues. So it's when I am open, knowing that it's not just about me, but that my soul has this vision, my soul has this expression, and I have guides that are going to help bring to me the synchronistic people. I have guides that are going to help give me the opportunities. What are my cosmic clues? I might get validation when I see some, what we call them angel numbers, like you mentioned yours, right?
Yes.
414, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you might have and you see that, and you're going to see it when you leave a message. You're like, that was 4 minutes, 14 seconds. Or you're going to see it on a license plate.
That's right.
You might see other angel numbers, and you can look these up. They all have their meaning.
Yes.
I remember when we were looking to buy the house I am sitting in, we bought in April. Talk about like cosmically led. I'm going to tell you this real quick.
You do.
I wrote on a piece of paper, I've got it right over there. I was like, December 2022. I have some stuff I feel like I want us to do in 2023. I want us to buy a house that has a yoga/office space for me. I was working out of our garage, very blessed and grateful for that space, and ready for a shift. Husband working out of the bedroom, 1,300 square foot home, right? 2 weeks later, he's like, hey, I saw this house. We should go take a look. Go take a look, put an offer on it. We're sitting in it. Were there moments that we were like, I don't know. Were there moments we almost backed out? Absolutely. I kept checking in. Body scan. I kept checking in. Intuition. Is this feel guided? Well, what if this goes wrong? What about the interest rates? What if? Come back to center. Did I have some sleepless nights? Yes. Is that okay? Absolutely. Totally normal, right? So when we have these cosmic clues, what else was I seeing? I was seeing a story being shown in numbers to guide me that this was a great decision, right? It's helped my business expand. My kids have more room to play. It's been beautiful. What else might you see? Cosmic clue. You might have an ancestor or past loved one who I bet they show up for you as a certain animal. You see a hummingbird, you're like, wow, that makes me think of grandma. Who's
My
yours?
husband has that with his cousin that's gone.
Yes.
And he absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you might have like a butterfly. You might have, yes.
That's exactly what it is.
Okay. So that's what I was thinking. I was like, I wonder if he has a butterfly.
It is. It's a butterfly.
So, yeah, beautiful. In the realm that I work, they speak to you. I want you to know they speak to you. You don't need someone like me to like intercept. And I speak with them too. And they're here to support you. Sometimes you can even ask, and this is where we can use our imagination. It's okay. We've been guided to think through school and through whatnot that all this is like, oh, I don't know, it's woo-woo. This is all the way it's always been. It's the systems that have said, well, if you've got all this power to download this stuff intuitively, that's not going to work out for us. So the systems have looked to sort of remove these powers, these skills from us so that they can be in greater power.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
little side note.
Well, it's true. Just like monarchies have always kept the best things for themselves.
Yeah.
And made it a law. Oh, woe is thee who, when they're back there partying with it all. Right. I get it. And I'm going to have another connector, another cosmic clue came. You said in the realm in which I work. And when I posted that Facebook post that I showed you. First time ever in my life have I ever used that word in relationship to myself. And I did this morning, realm. And I didn't even know how to spell it. I had to Google it.
Yeah.
Right.
Gotcha.
Right. And so
Yes.
I'm like, okay, now I'll just say this. I came into this interview, this show, this sacred space. You saw how I was at the beginning of the hour, you know, but now I feel like because because I was willing to be vulnerable, I believe, and to say, do you have anything for me? Do you have any messages for me? Because we're told to seek and we're going to find. And when you don't understand something, it is okay to ask
Yes.
for clarification, for discernment. That is sometimes I think that's the universe saying, come on, you can do it. Open your mouth. Just ask. Just ask, and we will answer. And so that's what I'm excited about. I want to thank you so much. Listen, you guys, here's the book. And Stephanie, I'm going to drop both of your links inside the comment section for everyone immediately at the conclusion here in a moment. Can they find the book there?
The book is on Amazon. So if you look up wealth codes,
I will drop that.
Yes.
I will put that one in. So you guys expect 3. I'm going to give me a couple minutes. I'm going to put all 3 links inside the comment section. So come back and get those. And get inside one of these vehicles, these 3 links, and find your way to Stephanie Zito. And I want to talk to you about the Akashic Records thing. I'm very interested in hearing how I can experience that through you.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm really anxious to hear that. So there it is. I want to thank you so much again for all you've done here, all you've done in the world and will continue to do, and just for being a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful person, easing suffering in this world through your divine gifts. I honor you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been such a pleasure being here with you.
Oh, thank you. Ditto. Listen, I want to say to all of you out there too, thank you so much. If I didn't have you guys to come here and show up for, when I sat in this chair this morning, it's hard sometimes, or let's just say challenging at best, when you know that you're not showing up as this person, but because you all are within reach, I have found myself back to myself, and it was within 1 hour. Remember to honor those who sit in the front row seats of your life. And you can only do that by honoring everything that is your life, all of it, from the Ruta to the Tuta. So take that with you today. I am honored to love you and to know you. And I promise, God willing, I will meet you tomorrow morning again, right over there on the front porch. Our guest tomorrow is Gabriella, the channeler. Do you know how to say her last name? Alziari. Alazari?
I would say that. Alazari.
Sounds good to me. We'll hold on to that until she can tell us for real tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Central. If you can be here, I'd love to see you. Great way to round out this first week of the RPXP Experience Takeover. Listen, get out today. Call on everything, the angel, spirit, anything that was created through the same tunnel, the portal of light and love that you were, and ask it to help you find your highest self in this day. I'm going to, and I want to bless you by saying you are the blessing you hope to receive. Stephanie, thank you again.
Thank you.
Guys have the best day ever. Thank you so much. Great job. Great job. Bye, everybody. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.